I was standing in the crowd at Weltklasse Zurich, watching the world's most accomplished pole vaulters launch themselves into the air. Except that isn't the full picture.
Could you just describe what we're looking at to people that can't see it?
This is like the main hall of the main station, train station of Zurich.
And they've decided to put the pole vault in the middle of the station.
Tourists, commuters, and Olympic athletes soaring past me nearly 5 meters off the ground.
You can't really see anymore that it's a train station, I think. And sometimes you have some people running by with luggage or so trying to find the exit because they just arrived here.
Do you think it makes it more meaningful doing it in a public space than in an arena?
So many more people can come by and just watch it. For example, we didn't really know about this event before, and now because it's public, we were able to come here and we get a little more interested about this sport. It's cool.
And it's not just passers-by. People have come from far and wide.
I'm here because my husband and I are motorhoming around Europe and we love athletics and took the opportunity to come to Zurich, but we love the pole vault, so we thought it was a perfect opportunity to come and watch it here now.
And what is it about it that particularly appeals to you and your husband?
I really love the way that with athletics, people of many body types, there's something for all of them. You can watch something on the track and then you can watch a field, they throw, they jump, but mainly for participation, there's just something for everybody to do, and I really love that.
This isn't the main event. That takes place in the Letzigrund Stadium over the course of one night. An invitation-only track and field meet bringing together the best of the best in everything from the shot put and hurdles to the long jump and sprint. But don't take my word for it.
It's probably the best meet in the world when it comes to athletics and track and field.
They live it. They live athletics here.
A lot of people competing here are stars and role models and everything.
It's the Olympics in one night. If you want to see the best athletes doing the best performances, you gotta come here.
Beloved by athletic fans across the world,
there's a great spirit, and it's also very international. There are many people around here.
In the beating heart of Switzerland.
The city just seems really quite keen on it.
Yeah, it's a huge event here in Zurich, so.
Weltklasse is where human endurance is pushed to its limits.
I think sport is very much present everywhere.
Seeing the stars you look up to as a young athlete.
And dreams become reality.
If you had to describe the event in 5 words, what would they be?
No, I can only describe it in 2 words, and that's Weltklasse.
You're listening to a series exploring the 9 Swiss top events, hosted by me, Jack Boswell, and presented by Switzerland Tourism and Swiss Top Events. This is Views from the Top. Episode 2, Weltklasse Zurich. Perched right at the top of Lake Zurich, in north-central Switzerland, is the country's largest city. You may picture mountains when you think of Switzerland, but Zurich is firmly on the Swiss plateau in the Limmat Valley. And if you've never visited, you'd be forgiven for having the wrong impression of it.
So they actually I think it's like banking and shopping, the luxury mile, but Zurich has much more than that.
That's Ithi, a Zurich tour guide. We'll be hearing from her later. And she's right, there is a lot more to Zurich than banks and shops.
So many hikes, walks, and then so many water sport activities, especially in the summer. I think Switzerland, for that matter, very well connected with the natural side as well. So every town has patches of parks, gardens, forests for jogs, walks. There are about 4,500 or over sports clubs. So I think sport is very much present everywhere. So it's not only concrete banking, universities, but I think it has a little bit of everything.
Of course, there's a lot more than just sports too, but that's what I was there to learn about. So I made my way to the hotel where lots of the athletes stay and Weltklasse's organisers were camped out. I was there to see Christoph Joho, the co-director of the event. There were still last-minute things for him to organise, but he was gracious enough to sit down in the middle of it all to chat about Weltklasse. On the website, it's described as tradition paired with innovation.
Yeah, our motto is never stop getting better. Since 1928, Weltklasse Zurich exists, so almost 100 years old. But in Zurich, it's probably the most competitive place in Switzerland you can have, because every day there are hundreds of really top events you can experience. And how you create the brand, how can you be socially relevant? And this is the question which drives me.
Well, I suppose that is the question then. How do you remain socially relevant?
We are active on a variety of levels. Everything what we earn with Weltklasse Zurich, 100% we reinvest in athletics. So we support the clubs, we hire coaches, we support the best athletes, but also upcoming athletes. But then grassroots programs are critical. More than 10 years ago, we created, it's called the UBS Kids Cup. 3 simple disciplines you do. And every year, 170,000 kids participate. We have over 1,000 events, many taking place at schools. And this is huge because 15 years ago, athletics in Switzerland was almost dead. It was old-fashioned. It was not trendy. We didn't have good athletes anymore who could qualify for world championships or Olympic Games. And it completely changed.
Because the main event takes place in the stadium. Yesterday, I was at the station for the pole vault, and it was just magnetic in there. I mean, no one could look away. Why is it so important to bring it outside of the stadium and into the city?
10 years ago, we started to change the strategy. We go out to a new audience, and main station is perfectly. This is in Switzerland, the busiest place you can have, and we do there an event for free, but it's not a promotional event. It's kind of really best of the best athletes are there. I mean, everyone who participated at the Olympic final in Paris just recently, everyone was there from the athletes. You really can experience world class.
And the acoustics of being in the train station when the crowd cheers and screams, it's just amazing how it reverberates around the space.
Yeah, I love this place. The main station there is so a unique place to have a competition. And this is also in our DNA. We always want to surprise.
In the spirit of Weltklasse bringing athletics beyond the walls of the stadium, I decided to head out and get a better understanding of Zurich.
Okay, hi, my name is Ithi and I'm a tour guide. I'm originally coming from India, but Zurich is home for the past 25 years.
We met at the station where I'd seen the pole vaulters the day before.
Either side of the clock, you are seeing 2 allegory figures on each side. They are representing art, trade, science and commerce, which we find plenty in the city. I mean, Zurich is more known to be the financial hub, also the education, but over 65 art galleries can also be found and over 1,200 open art spaces around. By the way, would you like a coffee?
I'm okay. Would you like one? I can get you one.
I'm good. I'm going to get you one. It's amazing coffee, by the way.
I'm going to spare you the argument over who pays for coffee, but it was a very polite battle. You're being more English than I am now.
No, you are our guest, and that is like a very Indian thing to do, like, you know.
Coffee sorted, we walked down to the river where Ithi pointed to a fountain.
So Zurich is also called as a fountain city. How many fountains do you think we might have in Zurich?
40.
Okay, I give you a little tip. They say there could be as many water fountains in Zurich as Venice might have bridges.
Ithi leads me into a local business where the shopkeeper, Tony, gives us 2 glasses with a dark red liquid in them.
All the fountains have potable water, drinking water. You can always fill it in. So we are going to have a drink now. You can top. This is a syrup. I think it's a berry syrup. So please.
So we're going to top it up in the fountain.
Yeah. So, cheers, Jack.
Cheers.
Nice to meet you.
You too. You moved here when?
99, November.
So what was your impression when you first came here?
I mean, as I told you, I lived in many cultures. Within a week, within 3 days, I just felt the vibe very much at home. It's so weird. I felt more comfortable here than I felt parts of India, you know?
Really?
Yeah, because the thing is, Switzerland is very diverse because this country has 4 official languages and Zurich has 182 nationalities, very cosmopolitan. But the thing is...
As we were walking, Ithi mentioned a spring tradition which might change how you think about Switzerland.
So this is the Opera House. In front of that, the biggest square which I told you about, there is a snowman like that. It's called as a Bök. He is put on the pyre, and the festival happens on the 4th Monday of April. So when the St. Peter's would hit 6 o'clock, his head, which is filled with explosives, is put on fire.
Wait, okay, so there's a snowman with an exploding head that's put on...
And then his head is put on fire because that's how the summer is calculated. I kind of believe in this.
That's how the summer is calculated. A country famous for its watches, clocks and timepieces is predicting the seasons with an effigy of a snowman whose head is packed with explosives.
The sooner the head is going to explode, the better the summer will be. And this year, it never happened ever for the first time because it started winding like crazy. They called it off and our summer sucked.
I could only hope Weltklasse had more precise ways of timing the athletes.
Do you have a favorite story about Zurich?
One part of the story would be I'm probably the first Indian Zurich tour guide. So that itself, that is kind of a huge deal, right? Coming from India, this is my home for 25 years, but I'm selling Zurich, which also shows the open side of it, right? Like if you can deliver, you have the know-how or the education, then you can do, like this is more famous for probably countries like US, your dreams come true. But for me, my dreams have come true here too. Yeah.
And really, dreams coming true is a theme which is at the heart of Weltklasse. I headed to the Letzigrund Stadium to speak with someone who knows a thing or two about that.
I'm Colin Jackson, former world record holder for 110-metre hurdles and 60-metre hurdles, 4-time European champion, a couple of times world champion as well. So I know my sport of athletics very well indeed. And here in Zurich, the Letzigrund is one of my favourite tracks of all time. There's so many world records that were broken here. It was one of the tracks that inspired me to want to come and be an athlete and have the number on my chest that says Zurich.
Well, you've touched on it briefly, but what is it that makes it so special?
There's many things that make the whole atmosphere. First of all, we got to say the way that it's professionally organised. The athletes feel very much at home and welcomed here. And once you've been here for the first time and you get the buzz from the audience, the next thing is the crowd. They're just immense, and it's a knowledgeable crowd, and so that in its sense also makes it very, very special. And when you hear the start commands and the whole stadium hushes, then you're in Zurich.
And so how are you feeling about the next couple of days?
I'm always excited, especially in an Olympic year. Lots and lots and lots of athletes are still in great shape. We've seen all over the Diamond League already this year that athletes have the will to compete. So I'm very excited.
From the suite at the top of the stadium, we watched as hundreds of children streamed from their parents down to the track beneath us.
Do you know much about the event that's happening now that we're looking at?
Yeah, so this is called the Kids Clinic, and it happens all the time before the Weltklasse, and it just gives the opportunity for some of the youngsters to meet some of the sports stars that they watch on the TV. I'm just looking over there and I can see Mashinga Kumbunji over there, and they'll have the opportunity to warm up with them, be coached by them, talk to them, and then get all their autographs later.
Do you think that makes a difference if you're a kid to meet someone like that?
Hugely. I can remember myself meeting a guy called Don Quarry, who was Olympic champion for 200 metres from Jamaica, and he was one of the main reasons I did athletics, because of hearing my parents scream at the TV and watching Don win his Olympic gold medal, and I was like, I would love to be able to do something like that. I think it's good that we use our talented athletes fully across the board, and for us all, we understand and appreciate that to get where we are, people have given time. And so it's always important that you kind of reciprocate that and give it back yourself.
I made my way down into the crowd and spoke to a couple of different parents about the experience.
Both children, they had the chance to do the high jump and running as a sprint.
So what do you think it means for them today?
I think because they can be so near to the stars that they have seen now for quite a long time in the TV. They are just very happy and proud that they are so touchable, so approachable here. They can see and feel that it's normal people, even though they are stars, but they are approachable. And I think that's great. And the young daughter, she might be interested in doing athletic sports, so I think for her it's great to be here, and then she can make up her mind if she wanna go to a training.
Well, who knows? Maybe you will be back here in 20 years seeing them compete.
Yeah, and then you do an interview with my kids this time and not with me.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much.
I can't stress just how important it is for kids to see their favourite athletes humanised, not just as icons, but as real people. It's easy to put them on a pedestal and forget that they go through the same highs and lows we all do. Which brought me back to where I started. Christoph, the co-director of Weltklasse.
At the moment, mental health or mental fitness is a huge topic in society. But it's very in a negative way. If you cannot keep up anymore, if you have a burnout, if you have a depression, it's always you are not up to speed anymore. And I think this is the wrong narrative. And top athletes, they know how to train mentally, but you don't learn it at school. You don't learn it at home. You don't learn it at university. You learn it when you are in trouble. And I think this is not the right narrative. So we would like to use the brand Weltklasse Zurich, a very positive one, and pick up this topic and bring it to the public, to schools and to other organizations.
Do you think maybe because athletes are sort of viewed as these tough, incredible physical specimens that the mental health side of it was sort of overlooked for a while, that these people maybe don't suffer when in fact, of course, they do, like everyone else?
It was, definitely. Athletes were afraid to talk about their depressions, their self-doubts, their negative thoughts they have. In athletics, take an example from yesterday. Nina Kennedy, she won the pole vault. She won the Olympic gold medal in Paris. But a couple of years ago, she was a completely different person. A lot with self-doubt. And the biggest enemy she had was herself, because she was told that she's not talented from outside. And when she had a good jump, she thought this is just by chance. She doesn't deserve it. And then she really worked hard, and she's very openly about it. And you see where it ended. She was last year world champion, now Olympic champion. Yesterday she won already 3 times in Zurich, the pole vault. She's a different person with energy, and you can really, when you watch her, see in her face, you see the difference. And this is the interesting thing. Often what you see is kind of, sometimes it reflects the thoughts they have inside. I think this is a fascinating topic. In the event business or in the sports business, no organization has already picked it up. So I think this could be a good topic to test it out if we, as Weltklasse Zurich and with partners, can make a difference.
It was the night of the main event. The stadium was sold out, and as crowds began to filter in, I could feel the anticipation building.
So if you could start by introducing yourself and your role.
My name is Daniel Westfeldt, and I'm from Sweden, and I'm an international sports agent and have been so for 25 years.
And how would you describe Weltklasse to someone who has never attended before?
It's probably the best meet in the world when it comes to athletics and track and field. They have always produced fantastic events for many, many years. Very stable, very accurate, world class through the whole competition. That's why they named themselves Weltklasse, world class.
Through sheer coincidence, I ended up chatting with someone who has a pretty special connection to Weltklasse.
So how did you end up here today?
It's actually quite a funny story. So my grandfather, he kind of set this whole thing up. He made it professional, he made it commercial, so he made it big. Yeah. Okay. So he unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago.
Sorry to hear that.
But yeah, thank you. But we grandkids, we keep it up. We be here, keep the spirit high, and my sister and I, my brother, we came here every year as little kids and met the athletes, everyone, and so it's always special for us to be here.
So what was your grandfather's name?
Andreas Brücker.
I checked. Andreas ran Weltklasse for nearly 30 years, up until 2000.
Yeah, he built something out of passion. He was such a great inspirational person, and how he was with the athletes. He was the first one who supported the athletes in a very personal way. So he made possible that the athletes come here to Zurich and compete and made them feel home here. That was way before all the athletes had agents and everything.
So there was a real personal connection with them?
Always, yeah. I remember back in the days when he invited the athletes to his home, and they were staying at his home place, and he made like an apéro where the athletes came and had a drink. He took them on a boat ride around Zurich, and yeah, we were part of it as little kids and saw that. Yeah, special.
So what do you think your grandfather would think of it today?
Way more international than it was back in the day, but he loved the vibe is still here. It's all about the spirit from Weltklasse Zurich. It's really special because you see like this stadium, it's built for athletics, and once you're in here, and Zurich is an amazing crowd for athletics, they love it, and it gets the crowd go crazy, yeah, and it's really loud. Where are you seating?
I'm in the media section.
Oh, perfect, yeah, so you're close by the fans, so you hear it's going to be really, really loud, and it's like the only one next to the concert where the stadium is on fire.
Across the evening, the packed stadium watched, captivated as athletes pushed themselves to their limits, launching javelins across vast distances, leaping over hurdles and sprinting at superhuman speeds, until finally we reached the very last test of strength. The women's 4 times 100-meter relay. Regardless of whether you're an athletics fan or not, I challenge you not to get swept up in the moment as 30,000 people fall silent in anticipation. And just when you think it can't get any quieter, this plays over the loudspeaker. You've been listening to Views from the Top, a Switzerland Tourism and Swiss Top Events collaboration with the support of our partners Swiss International Airlines and Swiss Deluxe Hotels. A special thank you to the Widder Hotel for hosting me during my time in Zurich. It's been a true anti-classic production presented by me, Jack Boswell. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please rate, review, share, and subscribe. Thanks for listening.